With last month's release of the PS4 exclusive The Order 1886, there has been much discussion on the subject of the game's length. Some say 5 hours, some say 10, some say somewhere in the median of that. I haven't played it myself, seeing as I don't own a PS4, but there's no denying that since the game's release, a philosophical debate on the formulaic conundrum in which a game's length must justify its price has become quite prevalent. Even though The Order has been out for about a month now and this topic is by no means new, I would still like to weigh in and give my take on the matter. When listening to others' viewpoints, I often hear the perspective of this breaking down to an hours overpriced formula, where each person is willing to pay X amount for a number of hours of entertainment, e.g. going to see a film and using that as a benchmark. And games are kind of similar to that, I guess. I live in the US. For us Americans, a new release costs $59.99, just over $65 if you include sales tax. I can't speak for everyone, but I make $12 an hour. So I have to work over 5 hours just to afford one new game. I haven't even taken into account taxes, bill payments, groceries, gas, etc., so assuming that most of us are in the same boat, by principle alone, that's a lot to spend on a new video game. Also taking into account that each individual's taste in games is so unique and subjective, the concept of shelling out $65 on a game one isn't even guaranteed to enjoy is borderline cringeworthy. So yes, I do understand where the people who demand that games be closer to 100 hours to justify a $65 price tag are coming from, completely. However, I don't always view it that way. I tend to follow another school of thought on the matter. For me, it's more of a quality over quantity kind of thing. It's true, I've invested hundreds of hours into Skyrim, and Skyrim is also a very good quality game. In that case, it's the best of both worlds, but not every game can be Skyrim or match Skyrim in terms of number of hours of gameplay. Let's look at another game that's proven its value. Let's say Silent Hill 2. Awesome game, love it. One of my favorite survival horror games of all time. I can finish it in under 2 hours. Now to be fair though, the game does have multiple endings as well as unlockables. But even then, we're looking realistically at about 8 hours of gameplay if one knows what they're doing. How about Halo 3? My brother and I can finish that game on Legendary in just over 3 hours, but I still consider it well worth the money due to the number of times I have played it. It's still one of my favorite things to do when my friends come over. Nothing is more fun than getting 4 people in front of a TV, playing Halo 3 on Legendary and playing Keep Away with the Skull on the Cortana level, laughing our asses off while we do. Condemned Criminal Origins is one of my favorite titles on the Xbox 360. I can 100% that game getting all the collectibles in about 4.5 hours, and have done so numerous times on numerous different profiles. Yes, it's significantly shorter than Skyrim, but it's also a very good survival horror game, and I've had my fair share of fun and entertainment with it. Now, would I have been willing to pay retail for it at launch knowing its quality and how much I would eventually come to enjoy it? Absolutely. And while such clairvoyant power would be awesome, that's simply not the way the world works. I've heard stories from people who bought new games during the NES days and how a good half of their collection would arguably consist of crap because there was no real surefire method to know whether a game was good or not back then. The difference today is, we have the internet. An almost unlimited array of tools for information is now at our fingertips. A plethora of knowledge on games is completely accessible. So regardless of one's stance on game length in relation to price, it all ultimately comes down to treading the following steps. Let's be realistic here. Not all of us take in a salary abundant enough to afford all new releases at retail price. And since clairvoyant powers are almost certainly out of the question, be patient. You don't need to buy a new game on launch day. Read reviews, watch Let's Plays, allow your favorite YouTubers to tackle this for you. Have a friend who owns the game? Go play it at their house. In this process of observation, build an opinion for yourself on whether or not you think a game is worth spending retail price on. If you decide you have to have it based on this research, great. If not, you can always wait for the price to drop and visit your backlog in the meantime. Oh, and if you're really on a budget, this advice works for pre-owned games as well. More research beforehand means less blind buying in hopes of a game agreeing with your individual taste, and in the end means money spent more wisely on a product you are sure to enjoy. We can discuss this all day long. Everyone has their own opinion here. Yes, I do consider cost into my decision when I buy a game, but I also ask myself later, was I entertained while playing? Was the game fun? Would I consider replaying it? Are there multiple endings or other replay value? Are the achievements fun to go for? The variables are numerous, and all of them come together to form my opinion on whether or not a game was worth my money. I guess all I can recommend is to do your research beforehand and weigh all the variables, and also try to avoid binary all or nothing thinking on the matter. Just because it's not 100 hours doesn't mean it's a bad game or not worth the money. At least, that's how I see it. I'm the Anodyne Wonder, and thanks for watching.